Welcome to the Road to Redemption podcast with your host, Cam Williamson. Each week, Cam sets out to shatter the labels and stigmas associated with mental health awareness by giving life lessons and raw overviews of events happening around the world.
All right, what is up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of the Road to Redemption podcast. I am, as always, your grateful host, Cam Williamson. Do me the favor, hit the thumbs up button, means a lot to me. Then, if you're not already, subscribe. That way you can follow me on my journey after the Johnny Depp trial, because today, case is closed. Guys, hit the bell if you want to see everything else I'm dropping. Let's go back just a little bit to yesterday. I was kind of live going on Facebook while Johnny took the second half of the day on the stand, which was his cross. It was him and Rottenborn, and it got spicy, man, from the jump. My favorite thing, the first time Johnny got to say his name, he goes, Rottenborn? So, again, the pettiness inside of me like that, but I quickly lost my smile when Rottenborn pulls up pictures of the glass bottle incident and the finger lopping incident, because he looks at a very blurry, shitty picture of some stuff that Johnny had circled, saying, yes, that was the second bottle. And he goes, well, there's no handle on that bottle, is there? Now, that's a very hard picture to decipher really anything, but you could see how it would be like a glass bottle. The moment Johnny said had a handle, I was like, why be so specific? Right? Just no need. So in that moment, I'm like, we don't need this doubt right now. But that must be just the inner core fair weather in me that I'm willing to just be like, the inner skeptical, right? Which is okay, because I like to think that I try to check my bias at all times. Then we get into, with Rottenborn, it's just heated discussions. He's trying to ask Johnny yes or no questions. Johnny's going, it's not yes or no. You keep trying to put me in this box, and it doesn't work. Then the big moment happens where there's a text message exchange, where Rottenborn implies that Johnny sent a text message to someone else claiming he was going to take certain parts of a lady, and he could do that at his will, and he would redefine the term thrashing and all this stuff, right? When later, if it's been examined by the internet, that those were incoming messages. This was not brought up in court, so the jury did not hear the fact that that was incoming messages. But it was bad, because what happened, and the reason I tensed up so hard, was it sounded very bad, like almost kind of like the grabber by the moment by Trump, right? It sounds bad. Even if in the context of you and your partner's relationship, you guys talk that way, to the general public, if they don't, that's going to sound aggressive, right? So again, what happens in the privacy of your text messages is usually thought to be believed that it's going to stay there, right? So you're not going to speak as graphically as to not offend common people who you don't know their beliefs, you don't know their sense of humor, you don't know their creative writing styles, things like that, which is why I didn't agree with that being held against that person at the time. We get back to the point. So again, none of that was brought up, but Johnny kind of skated off past, that. Okay, so that was yesterday. Then we move into today. I thought there was a lot of mumblings that Amber was going to return back to the stand. As the day has gone on, we knew that they only had like an hour. Amber Heard's team had like an hour left to present their case in any part besides closing. Johnny Depp's team had like 7. So they start, Johnny Depp had rested his case yesterday, so they start in Amber Heard's rebuttal side with this, Johnny Depp did call another finger expert that said the bottle could have smashed it. That was really the only thing. Amber Heard's team in rebuttal first calls a forensic digital analyst, which his whole thing was to discredit the digital analyst yesterday that said Amber Heard produced fake photos. That happened after Johnny Depp's trial. He presented all these photos. He clearly showed how they had been doctored. They had different file names. The metadata was off. It was clearly Amber Heard had 3 different pictures. He showed what apps she used to edit them. Anyway, this guy today comes in and goes, well, yes, The photos were saved in Photos on an Apple device. Okay, yes, you can adjust lighting, contrast. Now, most people who are professional content creators have better apps than just using that. But yes, you can do that with that. So that was not a strong piece of evidence. He also really just made the case, oh, look, Amber sent all these pictures. I can show you where Amber sent all these pictures from her phone to her tablet to her computer. And then in rebuttal, Johnny Depp's team goes, yeah, but she has different versions of all these pictures. You're showing the trace from the original. Fine, well and good, but there's all these different variations. And this is when the momentum shifted hard for our boy, Johnny Depp. Because they put two pictures side by side, which I think I have, and hopefully they'll be right up here next to me, of Amber Heard's face, and they clearly look very different. And asks this digital analyst that was supposed to be brought in for Amber Heard and goes, can you tell me we're not looking at two different pictures with original file names on them? So you're not telling me that they didn't find a way to name the file the same. The metadata says these two pictures were taken at the exact same moment, but we are looking at two very clearly different pictures. And I mean, it was a mic drop moment. There was this witness had been destroyed. Sure, you might have got your money's worth. They had proved this legal team used him like 20 times prior or some crazy shit. Again, that part was insanely wild. Dr. Hughes returns to attempt to discredit Dr. Curry. You can't do that, right? I think calling these last few rebuttal witnesses just shows the quality of witnesses Amber Heard had to choose from. Scraping the bottom of the barrel is being nice, because that digital analyst, whatever he was a train wreck, right? Dr. Hughes was one of Amber's worst witnesses, but also like, if you live in the la la land that somehow you've thought Amber Heard is not lying this whole time, Dr. Hughes is kind of your golden pony that you're riding on, because I don't even know how you could do that. You would have to be sick in the head, but she is a practicing mental health professional, so she does help people in mental health, which is concerning to me. But Elaine brought her up and goes, hey, Dr. Curry says what you did was unethical. Was it? No. She's, of course, going to say no. But again, then comes in rebuttal. And I don't remember who did. I thought it was Dennison, maybe. And simply just brings up the fact very, very easily. You doctored your assessment to make sure that in the end of all of them, you could articulate that Amber Heard had PTSD. So much so, you didn't fill out prominent parts of the file. You just knew what you were doing. You chicken scratched your way through it, knowing what scores she needed to just pencil hand jam it through. And I mean, guys, they played the evidence on the screen. The entire jury was following it as Dennison's going, right here, you didn't fill out a box that says what happened. They showed that one of the forms or one of the assessments that Dr. Hughes used was a very specific form that's supposed to track how the person has responded within the last year. I actually remember being given that assessment, and I remember a lot of my answers during that time were very odd, because like they ask you very strange questions about your sleep. They ask you strange questions about your dreaming pattern, about your anxiety levels, about a lot of different shit. Like, again, it's like behavioral characteristic type stuff, how often you've dealt with it. And it's literally like tons of questions. Would you say it's never, sometimes, often, very often, or most of the time? And they literally sit there and read the question, and then they read every one of those options every time, and you have to tell them which one it is. So it's not like it's this very vague thing it's a very meticulous process that they go through because again, if you say things that don't pan out, there's going to be another assessment that you would have to use for like feigning and stuff like that. Now, again, as the patient, you're not going to know this. You're just sitting there answering questions that you are being asked. But again, if you've been preparing yourself, or if the doctor is preparing themselves to present you as this disability or something, or disorder, well, sure, they can have all the prior things that they need and just, yep, and they can ask you leading questions just like they were doing on the stand, and boom, there you go, Amber. You paid me X amount of dollars for my expert forensic analysis and testimony, and I'm giving you what you paid for. Here you go. Now, again, was it ethical? Fuck no. Was it even really legal? I think Dennison made a valid point for, like, what she did was completely outside the scope of mental health professional practice. Again, I'm trying to be careful because I don't want to accuse anyone of malpractice, but her antics were shiesty, to say the least. But we move on to our star. Amber Heard returned. Why? I don't know. She actually, if you can say Amber Heard looked good in this case at all, it was in the last 2 to 3 days is when she's looked the best throughout the case. I'm not saying she looked good, but I'm saying if you had to pick a moment when she looked the best, her momentum was definitely feeling less concerning for her. But again, not on the scope of everything that it's been. This is a very small thing. Amber Heard fucked up, guys. She fucked up. I don't know how else to run around it. She fucked up bad, and her team fucked up bad by putting her back up on the stand. So her team puts her back up and asks her very simply, how did the Waldman statements, trying to be very specific to keep her in the countersuit, how did the Waldman statements affect you? And she starts talking about getting death threats. She starts talking about people wanting to put her kid in the microwave. She starts talking about social media campaigns of people hating her. Okay, Amber, Waldman didn't do that. You did that. When you accuse Johnny of all these things, right? If you accuse Johnny of that, Johnny, like you so claimed in your testimony that kind of fucked you by claiming it's an American right. That was dumb. Trying to play to the American constitutional card. Okay. It's your American right to tell your story. Well, then it would be Johnny's right to defend himself. So if you put out a claim in the Washington Post, which at your very end of your testimony is Camille's grilling that ass, you even said, that's why I wrote the op-ed about him. To the jury, you big dumb fuck. In your defamation trial. Stupid. You said, that's why I wrote the op-ed about him. Hey, guys, see all the notes I have? I can put these down. Case is rested today, but the case is also done. She answered the question for the jury. She tried to use Johnny Depp's own quotes against him, one of the most impactful quotes that he's had during the whole case that's been shared throughout the internet, which is, she took my voice. When you can never be right, you don't have a voice. She specifically said, he took my voice. Amber, there was another demeanor piece of Amber that I found that I find great disdain for, which is when she says things, she goes, and she scrunches. There was one moment, and I even wrote it down, because she tilted her head in such a way that it actually kind of creeped me out. She also said she hasn't been laughing or snickering during this whole trial. Amber, do you forget that there's cameras in that bitch? We've seen you laughing. And then Camille, even without having to reference the hours and hours of streaming that's out there for people to go back and rewatch of this trial, she brought up the one video and tied it to the TMZ and how it's pretty much now known that Amber sent that video, or somebody from her team did, directly to TMZ. That's how they had the copyright and were able to run it. But that also was a video she was seen snickering in. Guys, Camille's complete obliteration of Amber Heard today. Again, I didn't think I was going to be able to walk out of this a bigger Camille fan. There's no way in hell there's a juror sitting on that jury right now that believes a fucking word Amber said. Not a fucking word of it. She pulled herself. All she had to do was give a little bit of an emotional thing about how Waldman's statements made the impacts of this trial worse. That was the easy push of the ball roll that her team gave her. Hey, we got to get you out of here. We got like 7 minutes left. That's all they had to question her on. Johnny Depp's team has 7 hours to go at her. Camille starts. Bang, 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 bang. Here's 2 pictures of you the day after you contacted TMZ. Again, drawing it all together. The day after you contacted TMZ to get them to show up and be on your right side so they could get this picture. Here's a picture of you the next day with Raquel Pennington as you guys laugh walking down the street. No makeup on. Clearly, nothing on your face. Oh, well, I don't have that. I don't know when this was taken. And she was lost. And Camille literally just went through to dissect. I mean, I'm trying to actually think now because, guys, it did literally just end. Amber versus Camille, pictures, yeah. Tiara bruises, scrunched face, hasn't been laughing, taking my voice. That's oh yeah, she's getting, yep. Okay, guys, tomorrow we get closing arguments. Amber Heard and her team committed an act of kamikaze martyrdom today. They suicided and I don't use that term lightly, right? Because if there was any life in this case, they themselves ended what life was left in this case. There's been much talk about mental health, and I'm probably going to do a full mental health recap breakdown while jury deliberation goes on, and I may do it during live stream if you guys want to see it that way. If you like these videos, just go and post it. Let me know how you want to see it. I'm going to do a full mental health breakdown of this case, and I want to talk about Amber, and we can talk about kind of what I see and what I've experienced. I want to play devil's advocate, so I want to play pro her side and con her side. Same thing with Johnny Depp. And then we could even do it with how they were treated by the attorneys and how I feel that even reflected their persona or their actual personality even more, because I think it's very important. I really do. I think it's important enough, and I think people have gathered how important the mental health aspect is to this case. That's happening at a fantastic time while I think the awareness is growing throughout the world. That obviously makes me very happy. But if Dr. Hughes taught us anything, it was that the line of professionalism and mental health is a very blurry one between what makes someone a professional and what qualifies someone to speak about it. Dr. Hughes so boastfully commented how she's the president-elect of the American Psychology Association in the trauma category or trauma department or wing or whatever she called it. Guys, if the American Psychology Association president-elect of the trauma division is willing to sit up there and do what she did, that was proven that she did, that doesn't do service for any mental health professional anywhere in the world. And I hope, and I guess maybe in a selfish way, it credits people like myself who are only speaking from our observations. I'm not claiming to be speaking straight from the DSM-5 or something like that unless I tell you I am. Which even then it would have been because I looked it up verbatim and wrote it down as a note before the show started. Which is all they're really doing. You notice they brought up the instruction manual on how to bring out some of these assessments or how to execute some of these assessments, and Dr. Hughes just clearly stated, well, I didn't do that because that's not how I felt like doing it. So that's the bar that being board certified puts you at, and being the president-elect of the American Psychological whatever Foundation, president-elect, fuck you. It just shows us again, titles don't mean that much. Lawyers can be unethical, shitty people. Doctors can be unethical, shitty people. Drug addicts can be victims of domestic violence. Men can be victims of domestic violence. Women can be perpetrators of domestic violence. Women can make false allegations of rape, sexual violence. Again, that's in this case. There's plenty of cases, Harvey Weinstein, Bill Cosby, plenty of other shitbags that prove that men can also be perpetrators. But just like everyone wanted to say during the George Floyd incident, when people wanted to get pissed about people saying Black Lives Matter. I'm not advocating for the foundation. I don't know anything about the foundation, and I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the individual African American or black people, however they choose to identify themselves, individuals standing up and going, I would like for my life to matter to the people that can hear me. And they were met with, all lives matter. And they're going, yeah, no, I get that. All lives do matter, but hey, I'm asking, can I get some help over here? Because I don't feel like my voice matters and my life matters very much. So in the Johnny Depp trial, men who have been victims of domestic violence and women, amazing women, who have sat back in the wings for years and supported men as they've been beaten down in courtrooms and they've been beaten down behind closed doors and they've been bursted into fucking tears at kitchen tables and couches and family holidays as their families watch as they get torn the fuck apart from the heart and soul out. This is that one chance for people in that situation to raise their hand and go, hey, I would like to matter for once. I would like my voice to be heard for once. Now, the overwhelming support in this situation is fantastic for Johnny. I also like to believe the same support came in for George Floyd, though, yeah, it was a national, worldwide story as well. So we'll say that, but I take great resentment to what Dr. Hughes and Dr. Spiegel and a few other people did in this case in the name of best practice for mental health, because what you did is you expose the few holes in psychological or psychiatric treatment, which is that mental health is still a new field that's being discovered. It's young in its research, particularly because it was completely disregarded up until 20 years ago. Y'all, 50 years ago, people like myself, Johnny Depp, Amber Heard, many of you that can relate to my stories, we would be sitting in the fucking asylum, medicated out of our balls because our families would have gave up on us and sent us there, and we'd be sitting there rocking, slobbering, fucking staring at each other, playing fucking trucks or some shit as grown-ass folks. So don't get me fucked up with this whole thing that mental health professionals are ironclad in what they say. Y'all, we just started talking about this shit. So for people who claim to be board certified experts and I didn't hear you talk about one time. Now you really can't as an expert witness, but I didn't hear you talk about one time how you related to Amber Heard based off what you went through in your life. And how you can tell as a survivor yourself that she was telling the truth. It could only be proven that you picked out a very careful list of documentation and brought it into these assessments and made sure they were filled out in a way to describe a narrative that you were paid to give. Same thing for Dr. fucking what's his name? Spiegel, Lemony Snicket, whatever you want to call him. Fuck him, dude. I'm so proud of Camille Vasquez. Like, I literally cannot express enough how important today was for Johnny Depp. It literally almost makes me emotional. I would imagine Johnny Depp is going to go sit and have himself a full-blown cry today. Because for him to go to sleep tonight thinking he's done anything but won this case, I think it would be safe to say he's wrong. If I was in his life, not one of the yes men like Amber claims they all are, I would make it my point today to reassure Johnny, buddy, you're good, dog. Yo, the best thing you did, the worst thing you did in your life was get with Amber Heard. Best thing you did in your life was make sure that Camille Vasquez was on this fucking legal team. You're good, buddy. Let's just see what the jury says as to how much you're about to win. That's it. Amber admitted to winning the op-ed. She proved, we've seen that she doctored the photos, what little photos she had. No medical reports, no nothing. She's not even willing or able to say shit. Here is the motto for Amber Heard after this trial. This is something that a lot of people, I hope you grab it. You put it deep in a pocket of shit you'll never take off. Put it in your soul's pocket. If you lie, right, and then you're asked to tell the truth, you eventually have to remember 100 lies because you have to spin stories and do things. So you have to maintain 100 different truths that you may have to recall. If you tell the truth, you have to remember one, the truth. Amber Heard ran out of time because she had to run in circles trying to connect dots that don't connect. They're in different galaxies and different Milky Ways and different... They don't connect, Amber. Johnny Depp had 8 hours left that he could have roasted your candy ass on. And again, almost in a play of mercy, he deferred 6 hours to close. Really more. Amber Heard's team called her back up there. That didn't have to happen with Camille. Let me know what you guys think. Guys, we got closing arguments tomorrow, and then we go to the jury deliberations. Let me know. Do you want to live stream? You want to chat with me live? We could do that. Or do you just want to keep the videos? You like them? This one will be going live a little early because court ended early. So I'm glad to be seeing you guys in the middle of your afternoon, not so much in the late evening. Love you. We'll see you later.